How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you my review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Boy, oh boy. Before I go any further, please go across here, right there, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos such as this one. Man, oh man. One of my most anticipated movies of this year. June is a good month for movies. There's Across the Spider-Verse. Next week is Transformers with the Beast War characters. Optimus Primal. Gonna be hyped for that one. And then I think at the end of this month is Indiana Jones, which I still don't know if I'm gonna see. Oh yeah, and then there's that Flashpoint movie. I'm not even gonna get into that. Movie looks good, sadly, but I'm not even gonna get into. It's not even politics. It's just a. Do you care about what the lead actor has done? But we're not here for that. We're here for Spider-Man. Oh my goodness, y'all. This movie is crazy because the first movie was fantastic. It fought for best Spider-Man movie. It was between that, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is still amazing with Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina. And then at the time, Spider-Man Far From Home, right? It had to fight with those other two movies. Now that first movie has to fight with the second movie because this is just as good. At the least, it is just as amazing. But to me, it goes beyond that movie as well. Just building upon what was already made. So look, I'm gonna talk to you about the music. I'm gonna talk to you about the story, the visuals, and then all of that good sweet stuff in between. This is a shirt I got for the Amazing Spider-Man #2, which I still, to this day, for Peter Parker at least, is still to me the best Spider-Man live action suit in a movie. Period. Just It looks exactly like the comic books that I grew up with, right? But let's talk about the music. Music, just like the soundtrack for the first movie was great. This one's great as well with the lead song, "Call Me," which actually I forget who actually sang "Call Me." I'm just gonna scroll down here, but the song, the lyrics literally fit into the movie. It's pretty funny because I want to tell you to listen to it. You know what? Listen to the track. Listen to the music from this movie. And even though if you haven't seen it, the music reflects so well with what was going on in the movie with the overall premise. You just, all right, first of all, if you're here, I'm assuming you've already seen it, or you don't care about spoilers, because this is going to be full of spoilers, just off the rip, full of spoilers. And the overall theme is sacrificing all for one, or one for all. It's just, man, and what was that end scene with Aaron, and he puts on the track, and it's just inside. I can't remember the name of the song. I would know the name of it as soon as it hits the record, if it hit my ears again right now. But music was great, as always. That first movie, Into the Spider-Verse, I said that one battled with the first Black Panther movie soundtrack, and I still think that movie has a better soundtrack than the other one, because I still listen to that soundtrack when I'm doing everyday stuff like exercising, yard work. I still listen to that thing doing everything. That's probably the most mundane part of this entire thing I'm going to talk about, because, and while it's amazing, let's talk about the story. So here's the story. Miles, he's 15 now. He's sitting up here trying to, do the right thing as Spider-Man, but his parents are on him. They're worried about him. They know he's lying about it. They know he's leading a double life. Meanwhile, there's this Miguel Ojeda, Spider-Man 2099. He has a group of spider people that have a mission to save the multiverse of Spider people. The web, they didn't call it the web of destiny, but in Spider-Man lore canon is the web of destiny that connects all Spider people together. And the main villain, actually the co-villains, are the Spot and 2099. I'll get into it in a second. The Spot, his glow up. If you know the Spot is literally, I want to call him a D-list villain, but he can cross over and C-list. He just throws spots off of his body, wears a black and white gray suit, and the spots, and you put a hand through, you get a thing. Or just like you see in this movie, you can throw them up, throw punches, catch punches, things of that nature. Apparently, he worked with this universe's Dr. Octopus, which was Octavius. And still same it was his name, Jonathan Ohm, still the same canonical name of the Spot, right? He created Miles, which he even goes through. He says, "I'm your nemesis," and Miles is like, "You're kind of the villain of the week," which other Spider people like Gwen say. And the dude explains, "I brought that spider through that bit you, that turns you into Spider-Man. You broke the collider while I was there, which turned me into this." And his whole quest, it's kind of a interesting tale of, he wants to be respected. So you won't respect me? Cool. He accidentally kicked his own butt with his spots and more or less sucked himself into a different dimension. And that's when the cameos start appearing, because he goes through one hole. It's Comic Sans. And when I say Comic Sans, I mean like the old school comics where you can see the dots on the pictures and all. He goes through that. Goes through what was I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the universe label for Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom, but he pops his head through, see Mrs. Chen, who's like, weird stuff happens all the time. We go across the multiverse in this. It's kind of makes me sad about the level. See, I enjoyed Multiverse of Madness, but man, this really hones in on that multiverse thing. Spider-Man movies are killing it when it comes to the multiversal stuff. Where am I at here in my notes? And Spot just wants to be treated differently. It's interesting that when we get to one of my favorite set pieces and scenes, and Miles gets a vision, like his spider sense is heightened when he gets a vision because of the Spot getting more power. And he's seeing into the future that he's going to try to kill his dad. But he also sees in the future of a different person in that universe getting killed. And that leads into another theme about Miles' belonging. Something we see very early on is his parents together with, I guess, a counselor talking about his prospects for college. He's 15. He's 15 now. He's been doing Spider-Man for a year and 5 months now, if I remember correctly. Gwen has been Spider-Woman, even though technically she should be Ghost Spider, but Spider-Woman for about maybe 3 years. Been Spider-Woman for a while. But Miles, they're trying to come up with a story. That's what counselors tell you when you're trying to go into a school. And the school he wants to go into is Princeton, because they're doing the type of science that he cares about crossing into different dimensions. He misses his friends. He misses the Pennies, the Peter Porkers, the Peter B. Parker, played by our boy from New Girl. I'm just going to get his name because I always forget it. Jake Johnson. I don't want to call his name generic, but I can't believe I forgot his name. And of course, Haley Steinfeld's Gwen, who that's his crush, that's his love interest, that's his girl, right? But he misses his friends. He thinks about them. He draws the hell out of Gwen in his books all the time. And his mom is freaking out. She's like, New Jersey's too far, which is funny because he's just trying to spread his wings. And he even has a bit of a heart-to-heart with his father, who's going to be captain very soon during the whole initial Spot run, because he had to battle Spot, leave in the middle of that battle. Genki in this universe is a hole. He wears Miles' Jordans, but at the same time, he couldn't call the cops. He is definitely not like the Genki in the original 1610 comics, because we get universal names in here. I still love the comic book aesthetic because we can see and hear Miles's thoughts when he's like sneaking around, invisible around Gwen. He's like, shoot. Instead of them saying shit, they say shoot. It's like shoot. Or what someone made a reference. I want to say Spider-Man 2099 talked about a type of device, and just like in these damn comics, y'all, I'm if I can just, I hate doing this to one of, actually maybe it'd be better to get this one because of the backing. Oh yeah, if you recognize that, just like in these comics. Oh, actually do it right here, where sometimes in the books where they put an asterisk and says this is what this type of thing is found in such and such issue. They do that. And again, it was a bit of a mixed audience where I was. Definitely young adults there, but definitely kids there because it's an animated movie. Definitely don't want to take this out of the book so many times. But I wish if I can find this. Morbius is so ugly. I don't have anything in here to show that for sure. But oh, yes I do. Like those type of bubbles, right? I call them bubbles, but those type of boxes. And a lot of times those boxes will say things like found in issue such and such. It was actually a big thing in our 90s comics, especially the X-Men comics. I digress. I adore that they kept that comic style, which I know I'm not in visuals yet, but really, really cool. And Miles is trying to figure things out. Now, we get down to the betrayals because apparently Miles was never supposed to be Spider-Man. Again, his spiders from Earth 42 was supposed to be meant for the Peter Parker of that universe. And because he got bitten, a whole universe went without Spider-Man. Excuse me. And Miguel O'Hara, oh my God, he's so brooding, played by Oscar Isaac. He's so brooding. He's so sad because he has seen what happens when you mess with canon events, which I think is very funny. They put this thing called canon events in here, which if you watch Doctor Who, you watch other things, fixed points in time that have to happen, right? Or the universe implodes. But apparently Miles is the ultimate non-canonical event because he wasn't supposed to be bitten. And apparently all of his friends knew. Peter B knew, Gwen knew, and all of the lies and stuff come tumbling down bit by bit. Because he's like, why didn't you guys visit me? Oh, this is why you didn't visit me, because you knew the truth and you couldn't tell me. Well, we're trying to figure out how. He really wasn't having it. And going back to Miles' belonging, his mom told him something before he snuck off to follow Gwen, which I find very interesting. That it's a really good speech. They also met Gwen, although he called her Gwanda, but they met Gwen, and she ungrounds him for a minute because he forgot the cakes, messed up the cakes, bringing it to his dad's party. And she says, promise me. And she's more or less speaking about him going to college, but it fits his overarching life. No matter what people tell you, know that my little boy, know that he belongs, no matter what anybody tells you. And when they basically tell him, in every universe, there's an event where Captain Gwen Stacy dies. And it's a major event for Peter Parker. Throughout every universe, this happens. And we see some cool stuff because they show Spectacular Spider-Man voiced by the original voice actor. They show when his Gwen Stacy died. We see when Andrew Garfield's Gwen Stacy dies. When I say they pull things from the literal canon multiverse of Spider-Man stuff, They did it. And Miles is sitting there like, wait a minute, my dad's going to be captain soon. And he's looking at Gwen like, isn't your dad a captain? And Gwen's kind of just, because she's been alienated from her father, who in her universe, this happened in her comics, in her universe, her Peter Parker dies because he becomes the lizard of that universe. Being bullied by Ned of all people. Ned will be evil in the MCU. And they have a thing. Their families are super close. But Captain Stacy saw Spider-Woman over Peter's body, said she killed him. Why did she run away? And after this incursion from a Renaissance vulture, which is how we meet the Black Jessica Drew. I'm supposed to make a video because someone made a big stink about Jessica Drew being black. Maybe one day I'll still make that video, but I definitely do not talk to that individual anymore because it was just so disgusting. No one cares. How do you acknowledge representation matters, but at the same time say screw representation when it has to do with your favorite thing, right? Anyway, she shows up, Miguel O'Hara shows up, and Gwen wants to be on this team now because she revealed herself to her dad, and her dad still acts like a cop. So she knows about Miles' whole thing because everyone was told by brooding Batman Spider-Man but Miles, and they're trying to keep him there. And Miles is one of the best things he says. He said, everybody wants to tell me what they think my future is, or they're trying to tell me whether I belong or not. He's like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I love it. I love that about this character. This is why he is that dude. And as the betrayals in this sense, and this movie has a deep parents and truth thing. Gwen and her dad, with Peter and his parents, because he's fighting. He wants to tell them, but he's afraid that they won't accept him. There's also Peter B. Parker. He has Mayday because him and Mary Jane get back together. Funny enough, Mary Jane's played by Zoe Kravitz. Love it. But he even tells Peter, like, look, the reason why I have a kid is because of you. You inspired me to pick myself back up. And I want my kid to be like you because you're amazing. And I like to be around you and you're great. It's fantastic how they're showing these intersecting lines. Now, the big twist is Miles does tell his mom, but he tells his mom of a different universe that he's Spider-Man. Oh boy, I can't wait. I cannot wait to talk about that. Yeah, it's just the whole moral about believing yourself and knowing that you belong somewhere and being true to yourself and trying to juggle so many things. It's interesting because the big thing about Spider-Man is he cannot do it all. You cannot have it all. You can't juggle it all. But Miles is he's so much a Spider-Man because he's going to keep trying. Even though he knows that there's a good chance he can't, he's going to keep trying. Why would he stop? And as a matter of fact, he broke a canon event by saving the Indian Spider-Man universe, saving the equivalent to his Gwen Stacy, his Gwen / Mary Jane, saving her dad. And the canon event was him and the kid that he was protecting were supposed to die, and Miles messed it up, and that universe might implode if apparently when I looked this up, they call Spider Society, whatever, if those people can't get it under control. Which was I believe there was hesitation to let Gwen in because Gwen is close to Miles and they're worried about her jeopardizing everything. And it's crazy because Gwen's like, my gut tells me that this is wrong. And you know what, y'all? Jessica Drew, played by Issa Rae. Jessica Drew, man. I liked it towards the end of the movie when Gwen and Peter B start kind of telling her off, but that she kind of has a change of heart. And there's also Spider Bite, who is a virtual reality spider person. She's great. She lets Miles get away. I hate how much of an asshole she is. Like it seems like most of the Spider-Man are just assholes, and the friends that he made are just sad. Even Penny Parker is sad, like, oh man, I mean, this is how it has to be, blah blah. And I was like, so I'm supposed to just let my dad die? Screw that, right? Because that's what the spot's gonna do. Now let's talk about visuals, which I should have did visuals next. Visuals in here is amazing because, again, different universes, the characters are drawn in different ways. In the universes that are close, it's subtle differences, right? Like when we meet Miles the Prowler, the Prowler, he looks exactly like the Miles that we know from 1610, but there is a slight difference. Besides him having braids and being evil, there's a slight difference. I also do like one of the things that I didn't put in my notes here. I like that Miles has been practicing with his powers. Like, he's learning how to break barriers. He's learning how to charge up more. I like that distinction with him as opposed to other spider people who don't have those abilities. But since I don't want to say central focus, but since we're taking a more of a look from Gwen's side, getting her backstory first, because the movie opens up with her. In her world, it's like watercolor. The music is rock and roll, right? Because she was in a band. She quit because of her emotions. You know, she couldn't really, the guilt of Peter dying and her dad thinking that she did it, but not realizing it's her. Yeah, a lot of things were imploding for her. But the discussions between her and her father, when things are tense, the colors change to those oranges and reds. And when things are sad, it's deep blues. It's like things are like the colors are trickling down. And when there's happy resolutions, the colors become pinks and whites and light greens. Like when her dad says that he's quitting being the police force because he says, I love my kid. She was gone for months, right? When she came back, he's like, I love you. I can't be a cop anymore, which is going to save his life. And she sees that, oh, so it's not set in stone. Just, Miguel, you suck. And Miguel's entire thing is trauma because he looked through a universe where there was a Miguel O'Hara who had kids. And he's like, all right, goes through. Tries to replace him, but then that world imploded because he was there. And I guess Peter B was part of that, trying to help things out. Well, So it's all about trauma. But yes, the visuals are amazing. That comic book look, oh my goodness, just the art choices in this movie are still astounding. They did a great job, especially when you have, and I had to grab pictures here. This is some of the people that are in this movie. So I'm an avid comic book fan. My favorite Spider-Man was the Scarlet Spider before Otto Octavius became Superior Spider-Man. It's this guy. This is Ben Reilley, the clone of Peter Parker, as the Scarlet Spider. He is in this movie looking exactly like this. And he's voiced by Andy Samberg. And the funny thing about our guy here, by the way, this one here looks like Peter B. Parker, but with blonde hair. He monologues because he's from a comic verse. He monologues and it's hilarious and it's funny. And he's trying to brood. But yeah, he easily gets foiled. We do see the Spider-Man, Sony video game Spider-Man, voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. Was it? No, not Troy Baker. The main Spider-Woman here is this one. This is the one here. She's pregnant, just like this comic book verse, the 616 universe one, when she had this costume. But yeah, rides a motorcycle. She's genuinely badass. She's just an a-hole. And the big selling point when showing a lot of this movie off and what was going on was seeing that Spectacular Spider-Man with his voice actor was in this movie. And he even shows up and tells Miles, he's like, yeah, Miles, I'm sorry. That's how it is. He's super, super short, I'm guessing, because he's a cartoon. And just the amount of cameos is amazing. The biggest one that shocked me, again, I told you spoilers, is seeing Donald Glover as the Prowler. So their whole thing is to pick up villains that appeared in other universes and send them back home. And when Miles sees Donald Glover as the Prowler, he's like, whoa. And he's like, it's rude to stare. Now the very meta thing about this is we are confirming he's the Prowler. He is Aaron Davis of MCU. He has become Prowler. That means his nephew, who he mentions in the first Spider-Man movie to Tom Holland, is alive in that movie. Is alive in that verse. So Miles Morales Spider-Man coming to MCU. It's also kind of meta because Donald Glover plays Miles Morales in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. I forget what season, maybe season 4, when they did the Spider-Verse stuff. Fantastic. Just, oh my goodness gracious, fantastic. We do get to see, we get to hear a voice clip of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock from Spider-Man. Said No Way Home, when he says hello Peter. We get that voice clip because it was so many cameos and so many things. It's hard to see everything in a first glance, especially when you had a trailer show all the Spider people. I wish I would have put up a picture. We had Spinneret, which is a version of Mary Jane that puts on a suit. It's from where One More Day didn't happen in the comics. I enjoyed those comics where she has nanites to be a silvery spider, and Mayday is actually, no, not Mayday. It's Annie Parker. Annie Parker shows up in there. Just great. This is great. This is just the cameos. We do get a shout out to Doctor Strange and Tom Holland Spider-Man from Miguel O'Hara when first meeting Gwen. Unlike in the trailers, I love that the trailer lied. He didn't say it to Miles, but he says, Doctor Strange and that skinny nerd from Universe 199999. Shout out to Kamala Khan's actress, because she's 100% right. The MCU is not 616. Haha. What other cameos is there? There was Bombastic Bagman I saw. There's a 90s Spider-Man that has 90s Cable's arm and the shoulder pads. He showed up in there. There's oh man, what else? What other Spider-Mans were there? There's too many. Then there was one specifically made from the movie, played by Metro, who made the song Link Up. That's on the album. So Spider Bite. I think Spider Bite's new. I don't remember Spider Bite from anywhere, but another black girl spider person who's virtual reality Spider Woman or Spider Lady person. All of this is just incredibly fun. And there's also 1960 Spider-Man, where the Spider-Man theme song comes from. He comes in, tries to help stop Miles, but that doesn't really work. And when we talk about stopping Miles, let's talk about my favorite scenes. Like, first of all, them chasing Miles through Nuevo York, going, yeah, you don't really have a plan. Well, he did have a plan. He drew all hundreds of spider people from that hideout away from it so he can go back invisible and get himself back home, because he saw the go home machine that sent a very weird looking rhino. There's also a rhino that's just a rhino. Oh yeah, there's Spider Cat and there's T-Rex Spider-Man. When I tell you they pulled everything. Tons of love went into this movie. I wish we would get live action movies that had the care and love that this animated movie does. And I wish people wouldn't sleep on this movie, because people slept on the first movie, and I think it won an Oscar, or at least an Academy Award, because of the visuals and the music in it. It's amazing movie. Animation does not equal children, does not equal, cartoons. It's really, really good. I'm hoping more people are watching this. But did I miss anything? But yes, that was one of my favorite parts. My second favorite part was Indy and Peter Parker I don't. I'm gonna feel really bad if I say his name incorrectly. So please bear with me. I just gotta try to see. It's Pavitir Prahabkar. The Indian Spider-Man whose powers are more from magic than getting a spider bite. But that scene when they're going through the merged place of like Manhattan and India, or Mumbai and Manhattan, Mumbattan, that was interesting. That whole scene, that was my second favorite entire scene, because they're going through, you gotta stop Spot. Spot got the power. They're trying to talk him down. We meet Hobie, which is Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk, which is funny because apparently Gwen spent the night at some of his universe sometimes, which I'm gonna get into that in a second. But that scene in Mumbai, where it was Alchemic Corp, that building was crashing down. You have them saving people, trying to stop the building from falling, and it was all fantastic to see. And my third favorite part was that ending where in Earth 42, in Earth 42, there's no Spider-Man. Miles' dad is dead, and he's working with Uncle Aaron, and Miles is the Prowler, which Prowler Miles doesn't want to let regular Miles leave so he can rescue our dad. No, that's your dad. Why would I let you go? But we get a little hint towards the end because Miles is getting his powers ready on top of the chains. So I didn't see that coming. I sincerely didn't see Prowler Miles coming. And I didn't realize he was in a different universe until after he confesses to his mom that he's Spider-Man. And she's like, who's Spider-Man? That was, excuse me, that was a really, really fun twist. But let's talk about Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown, the MVP, Miles' rival for Gwen's affections, right? First of all, if you know anything about Spider-Punk, Spider-Punk is black. Voiced by our boy Daniel Kula, who was I can't remember his character in the first Black Panther. He was the Okoye's husband, right? He's also in Get Out. And what's the other movie? Nope. He's also in Nope. Main character Nope. Fantastic actor. He plays Spider-Punk using his real voice because he is British. And Hobie's universe, he's fighting against a totalitarian government. So his whole thing is anti-establishment. He loves Mayday because Mayday is an agent of chaos. And he's telling, you would think he's weird, because he is, but you would think he was weird and nonsensical because Miles can't understand him. But he tells Miles, look, you want to join up with this group because Miles wants to join up with the group, but listen to what he said. He said, listen to the mission statement before you go all in. And just that warning. Granted, I knew that Miguel O'Hara was going to be the pseudo antagonist as well going into this, but I didn't expect Spider-Punk to have a pivotal role. And I say pivotal because the few times we see him, he's smiling. When he first meets them in the Indian Spider-Man universe, and Peter is trying to, use his ability to break open this barrier so he can get the Spot, he tells him, he says, use your whole palm, as if he's already thought 15 steps ahead when Miguel puts Miles in this contraption, this energy field contraption that he can't get out of, and he gives him that look, and Miles shocks his way out. And Hobie is just like, yeah, by the way, I never liked any of this, I quit, just takes his thing off. But when they shut Gwen out because Gwen is trying to fight for her friend, you find out that Hobie actually went to her universe and gave her dad his transponder, a transponder that he made. And Hobie's universe is clip art, literally clip art. It looks um, like the British punk rock scene, right? And it's all clip art and it looks really cool. His interactions with the world is interesting. Fights with the guitar. I do find it, I don't know if it's cute or if it's funny or if it's both when, first he's like, I'm going to show you my secret identity. I'm not going to take off my mask to the audience. And he takes off his mask when he gets back to headquarters. And Miles is like, dang, you even cool underneath the mask? And it dawns on me that he is kind of like an alternate version of Miles because he's punk rock. Miles is hip hop. I liked that. And I appreciated the type of character he was for the little bit that he showed up. He was at least in the movie for like maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Great character. He definitely helps out. Now, this movie does end on a cliffhanger because Miles is captured. Gwen is now assembling her own group of friends to go save Miles and help Miles save his dad from the spot and everything else, and from Miguel Ujera. So let's talk about some secret stuff, some insider baseball stuff before I let you go. I know I've been rambling on for 30 minutes, but let's talk about some insider stuff. So, Amy Pascal, God, the woman annoys me. She talked to, I can't remember, Zendaya, guy who played Ned. Sorry, I forgot your name. And Tom Holland about doing voices in this movie because Tom Holland and actually all three of them expressed, hey, Spider-Verse was cool. I'd love to have a cameo in it. Didn't see him in here. I am willing to bet that for that third movie, which is called Beyond the Spider-Verse, I am willing to bet that we get a Tom Holland cameo where Tom Holland, if he doesn't save Miles, he helps Miles. I'm so willing to bet that this again is going to be so cool. And he's going to have, I don't know if he's going to have the suit from Far From Home or if he's going to have the suit from, the end. Or he's going to the suit from the end of No Way Home. I don't care, but I'm hoping he shows up and gives Miles a pep talk, because Tom Holland's expressed, wanting Miles to show up in the MCU. He thinks, yeah, we should probably do that sooner than later. And I appreciate that. Man, it's a good time to be a Spider-Man fan, especially with the new Spider-Man 2 game coming out. This movie's fantastic, guys. I've been gushing over it, talking to you for 38 minutes. I'm pretty sure I've covered as much as I can remember. It's just, I can't wait for this movie to come out on Blu-ray because I want to watch it again. I kind of want to go back to the movie theater and see this movie. This is a fantastic movie from start to end. BTW. When you do opening previews are really short. I was trying to go to an earlier screening and say, well, if I miss the previews, I don't care. And I was advised to watch the next screening because the movie starts, and it does start. And I just, Now, apparently, this is going to be a jumping off for a Spider-Woman movie, which, again, that is a thing that happened in the comics where you had Silk, Ghost Spider, you had Silk, Arachne, and Jessica Drew, all from the 616 universe doing a thing. It's probably going to be Gwen, Spider-Woman, and Silk. Maybe they'll find Silk. I don't care how it happens. That movie's probably going to be fantastic too because of all of the love and care that they put into this. Best Spider-Man movie by far. I think the only thing that made me question was they called Miles' dad Captain Morales. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. Miles is not fully Puerto Rican. He's half, right? Half black, half Puerto Rican. He's Afro-Latino. And I realized his dad's name is technically Jefferson Davis. So in this universe, did Miles's dad take his mom's last name? That is a very interesting thing to know because I'm pretty sure that he took that Mr. Davis took Miles's mom's last name. Interesting, different. You don't see that all the time, and you don't see it in comic movies all the time either, if at all. I do find the humor, by the way, the humor in here is not bogged down with it. When it happens, and it's natural, and it will give you a natural laugh, such as the parents going, "Oh, she called me by my first name," just like his other friends. Parents don't like that. Or talking about Miles gets A's and everything, but got a B in Spanish. And his mom's like, "You're speaking Spanglish," and he's like, "You're doing it too." And it's cute. The humor is good and it's cute. I think the only joke that the one joke that you would think wouldn't land, the joke about Mayday taking a crap in her diaper, it actually lands. It's actually funny, and it's piggybacked from another joke with Spider-Punk. Humor hits, visuals hit, the music hits, the plot is amazing, the pacing of this movie is great. You're never lost. The twist at the end is so great because you're paying attention. You're paying so close attention that you don't realize, oh, the room actually does look different. Crap. By the way, Sinister Syndicate is something from the comics, and also, you play HeroClix. That's a keyword, but the Sinister Syndicate Mafia was shout out in Earth 42. So that's just, man. Oh, David mentioned amazing ASM 90. That's what they call the canon event of Captain Stacy dying. I cannot hammer home how fantastic this movie is. We see shots of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We see shots of, if you was it Spider-Man Unlimited, the animated series Spider-Man. I already told you about the video game. If you are a fan of anything Spider-Man from any point in time, from beginning to present day, you will find it in this movie. The film, I just had to look at it. The film includes 280 variations of Spider-Man, and 95 of them are named characters. With that being said, what is my rating for this movie? I did a retrospective on Into the Spider-Verse because I didn't do reviews when the movie first came out. If I were able to do a review on that, I would have gave it a 5 out of 5. This gets a 5 out of 5. I'm going to do a new rating. 5 out of 5, must see. You must see this movie. This movie is great. This movie is amazing. I dare I say, I think it currently is the best Spider-Man movie. And maybe I'll sit down and rank my top 5 Spider-Man movies, because this is great. It picks up where the last one left off. And by the way, if you didn't see that movie, you're still not going to be lost, because they tell you what happened, and they tell you in such a natural way that you don't feel like you're being force-fed exposition. But yes, 5 out of 5, must see from me. You heard it here. Hopefully you heard it first. If you didn't hear it first, you heard it second, third, doesn't matter. Go see this movie. If you've seen it already, see it again if you can. But that's enough from me. If you've seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what other Spider-Man you want to see in the sequel / third movie. This movie was split into 2 parts, and I kept thinking to myself, I already knew they was going to be split into 3rd parts, but I was wondering where they would split it. And it's a good job splitting it at the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger that goes, oh, she's getting the team, but oh, he's captured. What's going to happen? Great part to end it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this one. Guys, thank you for taking a part of your day to listen to me gush about this film. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. Be safe out there, all right? Remember, you're never alone. Reach out to somebody. Talk to somebody. There's someone out there that would rather talk to you today than the morning you miss you tomorrow, all right? My social medias are right there in the description. Feel free to follow me. I usually post, especially on Instagram. I usually post on Instagram and on Twitter when my things are up. So please feel free to follow me there. And with that being said, guys, again, I'm Shane. Thanks again. And I'll be seeing you next time. A thwip thwip.